Imagine a world where an absolute nobody gets chosen by destiny to wield ultimate cosmic power, while the most terrifying villain in history prepares to break out of hell. This whole insane story starts with a giant panda named Pa who is low-key delusional about his martial arts skills. He is living out a wild fever dream where he thinks he is the absolute final boss of the entire continent. In this intro flex, Pa narrating how his kung fu moves are straight up the stuff of legend, leaving every opponent utterly cooked. He literally tells a gang of villains to chew on his fist before wiping the entire floor with them. The entire village is bowing down to him like he has unlimited aura, and he drops a line saying there is zero fee for pure awesomeness. Even the Furious Five, the elite high-tier martial artists of the valley, are bowing down to Pa like he is their grandmaster. Right when he is about to solo 10,000 demons on Demon Mountain, reality slaps him straight across the face. His dad screams from downstairs that he is slacking off and super late for his shift at the noodle shop. Pa wakes up surrounded by action figures, sweating profusely, trying to play it cool like he was not just living a main character fantasy. His dad presses him on what he was dreaming about, so Pa panics and lies that he was just dreaming about broth and noodles. His dad, Mr. Ping, literally sheds tears of joy thinking Pa is finally ready to inherit the family soup empire. Mr. Ping hypes him up saying noodle broth literally runs through their veins like an ancestral bloodline. When Pa asks if his dad ever wanted to do something wilder, Mr. Ping confesses he once thought about running away to make tofu. He laughs it off as a cringe phase because making tofu was a trash dream compared to serving noodles. He sends Pa out to serve tables, forcing the poor panda to suppress his true passion for kung fu. Meanwhile, up at the Jade Palace, Master Shifu is absolutely roasting the Furious Five during high-intensity training. Suddenly, a messenger interrupts the session because the ancient Grandmaster, Master Oogway, needs an urgent summit. Shifu rushes into the sacred shrine, where Oogway drops a devastating prophecy: the murderous warlord Tai Lung is returning. Shifu tries to cope by saying Tai Lung is locked in maximum security, but Oogway reminds him nothing is impossible. Shifu completely panics and dispatches a palace messenger named Zheng to order Chordom prison to double their entire security force. Oogway drops a legendary drop of wisdom, stating one often meets their fate on the exact road they take to avoid it. Shifu is freaking out because if Tai Lung escapes, he will march straight into the valley and unleash pure carnage for revenge. Oogway tells Shifu to calm his agitated mind so the clear path forward can finally reveal itself. Oogway points to the sacred dragon scroll hanging from the ceiling, announcing that the time has officially come. It is finally time to select the legendary dragon warrior who will be trusted with unlimited cosmic power. Word spreads through the valley like wildfire, sending the entire population into an absolute frenzy. Every single villager drops what they are doing because they have literally waited 1,000 years for this event. Pa gets hyped out of his mind, screaming that this is about to be the single greatest day in martial arts history. Right as Pa tries to bolt up the mountain, his dad stops him in his tracks and straps a giant heavy noodle cart to his waist. His dad sees this mega event as nothing more than a golden business opportunity to sell hot soup to the crowd. Pa tries to hustle his way out by suggesting he sell bean buns instead, low-key trying to speedrun his departure. Mr. Ping thinks Pa is taking business initiative and gets ridiculously proud of his noodle-loving son. Pa drags the insanely heavy wooden cart up thousands of steep stone steps, completely losing his breath. Other villagers sprint past him effortlessly, flexing on him while he struggles just to gain 2 feet of ground. At the top of the mountain, Oogway tells Shifu he feared he would not live long enough to see the dragon warrior crowned. Oogway reassures Shifu that whoever gets picked will finally bring ultimate peace to the entire realm and Shifu's guilty soul. Shifu gives the official signal, starting the glorious tournament to showcase the Furious Five. Pa finally reaches the heavy arena doors right as they slam shut in his face, locking him completely outside. Inside, Shifu introduces the Furious Five to the screaming crowd as the ultimate guardians of the realm. The five strike insane battle poses, completely captivating every fan in the arena. Pa tries peeking through a tiny hole in the wooden door, desperate to catch even a fraction of the action. Inside, the warriors are flexing insane stunts with massive fire hazards and deadly iron obstacles. Shifu hypes up the crowd, teasing that the main event is about to break the entire internet. The moment arrives as Oogway steps down to close his eyes and sense the true dragon warrior among them. Outside, Pa is frantically building a sketchy ramp with fireworks to blast himself over the massive stone wall. His dad catches him right in the act and begs him to stop ruining his life for a dangerous hobby. Pa finally breaks down and confesses the ultimate truth: he never dreamed about noodles, he absolutely loves kung fu. Mr. Ping tries to comfort him, telling him it is time to accept reality and head back down to the restaurant. Pa ignites a cluster of fireworks under his chair, launching himself hundreds of feet into the sky like a chaotic missile. He plummets from the clouds and crashes straight into the center ring right in front of Oogway's pointing finger. Oogway opens his eyes, looks at the smoking crater, and announces to the entire crowd that the universe selected this fat panda. Shifu instantly loses his mind, arguing that Oogway was trying to point at Tigress before Pa literally fell out of the sky. Oogway smiles with ultimate composure and hits Shifu with his iconic line that there are never any accidents in the universe. A bitter Shifu vows behind closed doors that he will torture Pa with training so brutal he will quit by sunrise. Cut to the chilling snowy peaks of Chorgong Prison, where Xing the bird messenger arrives with Shifu's warning. The massive Rhino prison commander scoffs at the warning, taking it as a personal insult to his impenetrable fortress. The commander boasts that escaping Chorgong Prison is a total mathematical impossibility. He leads Xing deep into the dark subterranean levels, flexing their absurd choke points. He boasts that they literally have 1,000 armored elite guards assigned to watch a single prisoner. They reach the bottom of an endless abyss, revealing the absolute nightmare fuel that is Tai Lung. Tai Lung is pinned to the floor by giant boulder weights and locked in a massive spiked turtle shell restraint. The commander orders the crossbow units to aim straight at the sleeping beast just to flex their authority. The arrogant commander literally walks up to Tai Lung and mocks him, telling him Oogway is giving the dragon scroll to someone else. Xing trembles in absolute terror, begging the commander to stop poking the deadliest creature alive. The commander stomps heavily right next to Tai Lung, laughing that the monstrous snow leopard is completely powerless. As Xing flies away to report back, he has no clue that his very visit just set off the ultimate domino effect. Back at the Jade Palace, Pa is being carried up the mountain on a sacred palanquin like a divine ruler. Pa is sweating bullets because he knows deep down he is a total imposter who just wanted to watch the show. He gets dropped off inside the sacred hall of warriors and instantly starts geeking out over every artifact. He stumbles upon Master Flying Rhino's holy armor and starts fanboying over the authentic battle scars. He approaches the legendary Sword of Heroes, completely mesmerized by its legendary razor-sharp edge. He even gasps at empty air when he notices the display stand for the invisible Trident of Destiny. Pa is living out every fanboy dream imaginable, totally unaware that Shifu is lurking in the shadows to destroy his life. The panda tries to play with the artifact stand right before Shifu steps out to begin his psychological warfare. Pa is low-key geeking out over all the sacred relics inside the Jade Palace like a total fanboy. But Master Shifu steps up out of nowhere, giving off pure villain energy. Shifu instantly checks him, making it crystal clear that Pa is nowhere near worthy of the title. Because to actually become the savior, you have to unlock the ultimate secret scroll of power. And according to Shifu, that takes insane mastery that a total newbie could never pull off. He literally starts roasting Pa top to bottom, picking on his massive body and total lack of agility. Shifu leaves no crumbs, brutally calling out his flabby physique and wild breath. When Pa tries to defend himself, Shifu pulls out the ultimate intimidation flex. This legendary finger hold can supposedly destroy anyone if Shifu just flexes his pinky. Shifu promises that Po will regret ever stepping foot into this arena by the time he is done with him. Panicked out of his mind, Po begs to start at the absolute lowest training tier possible. Shifu drags him to a basic dummy that they literally use to hold doors open during hot days. The Furious Five are all standing there watching, giving pure side-eye energy as Po meets his idols. Shifu forces Po to throw hands right in front of the legendary squad. Po tries to hype himself up, throwing out fake martial arts moves and ridiculous trash talk. He punches the training dummy, but the force immediately bounces back and smacks him right in the face. The dummy spins out of control, hitting Po everywhere and absolutely destroying his dignity. Shifu dryly declares that a whole new rock-bottom rank has just been invented. The five are completely unamused, whispering about how this out-of-shape panda is totally cooked. Mantis and the others just cannot fathom why Master Oogway picked someone who cannot even touch his toes. Later that night, Po awkwardly wanders into the warriors' quarters trying to make friends. Crane straight up shuts him down, letting him know he is trespassing in his personal room. Then Master Tigress steps out of the shadows, dropping cold-hearted truth bombs without holding back. She tells Po straight to his face that he is an absolute embarrassment and needs to pack up and leave. Hurt and embarrassed, Po wanders off to a legendary cliffside tree to drown his sorrows. Master Oogway suddenly appears, catching Po stress-eating peaches like crazy. Po vents all his massive insecurities, admitting he failed harder than anyone in history. He looks at himself compared to the Furious Five and realizes he has zero natural combat weapons. That is when Oogway drops the most iconic piece of wisdom about living in the present moment. He reminds Po that focusing on his past failures will only block him from unlocking his true potential. Meanwhile, over at Chorgom Prison, absolute high-stakes chaos erupts without warning. The terrifying snow leopard breaks out of his massive stone restraints in an insane plot twist. An entire army of rhino guards unleashes a heavy barrage of massive ballista arrows. Tai Lung literally parkours off falling boulders and incoming spears like an absolute beast. He uses the heavy iron chains attached to his cuffs as crazy grappling hooks. The prison guards completely panic as this unstoppable monster dismantles their entire defense grid. The sheer force of Tai Lung leaves the guard captain totally terrified for his life. Tai Lung spares the messenger goose, giving him a chilling threat to deliver back to the Jade Palace. He proclaims that the true heir is coming back home to reclaim what is rightfully his. The next morning, Shifu walks out into the courtyard thinking Po finally packed his bags and quit. Shifu is relieved, believing they can finally go back to choosing a real candidate. Suddenly, they look up and see Po suspended high in the air trying to do a full split. Turns out Po was just trying to practice, but got stuck completely on the wooden rafters. The five have to awkwardly pull him down while Po tries to save face. Shifu lectures him on how flexibility requires actual intense grind, not a quick overnight trick. He warns Po that real training here only produces pain, scars, and broken bones. Shifu immediately throws Po straight into brutal sparring matches with zero warm-up. After watching the Furious Five wreck Po, Shifu steps up to handle things personally. Shifu explains that real martial arts is about ruthlessly exploiting your enemy's flaws. He begins slamming Po all across the training arena without a shred of mercy. Despite getting utterly stomped, Po keeps pushing himself back up every single time. He proclaims his main character energy, refusing to give up no matter how hard he gets hit. The Furious Five watch from afar, surprised that this panda is actually tanking this crazy punishment. They realize Po might be totally out of his depth, but his durability is low-key unbelievable. Later that night, Mantis tries to heal Po using tiny needle acupuncture therapy. Mantis struggles to hit the right pressure points because Po has so much extra padding. Po tries to guess what Mantis is implying before he even finishes his sentence. Po bluntly asks if he was about to say fat, making the moment super uncomfortable. Viper jumps in, trying to be nice and keep the vibe positive. Po admits out loud that he feels like Shifu is deliberately trying to bully him into quitting. Viper reveals a dark secret, explaining that Shifu used to be a completely different person. She mentions that back in the day, Shifu actually smiled and showed warmth to others. Everything changed when his star pupil betrayed him and shattered his whole world. Mantis warns that bringing up Tai Lung is total forbidden territory in the Jade Palace. Po claims he already knows the surface story, but the squad prepares to drop the real emotional backstory. This legendary betrayal completely redefines Shifu into the cold, ruthless master he is today. And that intense discipline is exactly why Shifu refuses to go easy on Po. Every brutal hit in training was designed to force Po to give up and pack his bags. Shifu wanted to break his spirit so bad that Oogway would be forced to pick someone else. Meanwhile, the looming threat of Tai Lung's escape is speeding towards them like an absolute freight train. Because once Tai Lung arrives, no one in the valley will be safe from his wrath. Po has to find his inner power before this unstoppable nightmare hits their doorstep. He needs to stop doubting himself and start taking his destiny into his own hands. The stakes have never been higher as the clock ticks down to an epic showdown. And Po is going to have to prove everyone wrong if he wants to survive what is coming next. Tigress drops the unmatched lore on how Tai Lung was the absolute ultimate kung fu prodigy before he lost his mind. Shifu raised this absolute unit from a little cub and poured all his hopes into him, low-key setting up his own downfall. Tai Lung let the clout consume him and demanded the ultimate power for himself. Master Oogway sensed sinister villain vibes and blocked his promotion on the spot. Completely crashing out, Tai Lung leveled the entire valley in an absolute rage of pure violence. Shifu was too emotionally broken to finish him off because he genuinely loved him like a real son. Meanwhile, Mantis accidentally paralyzes Po's face during an acupuncture session gone wrong. The tiny bug low-key stops Po's heart for a second, putting the panda in extreme fight-or-flight mode. Over at the peach tree, Oogway is trying to meditate in peace while a frantic messenger goose flies in crying. Zing drops in screaming with apocalyptic news, but Oogway stays 100% unfazed like a true Zen king. The worst-case scenario just dropped because Tai Lung officially escaped his high-security lockdown. Shifu freaks out over Po, but Oogway reminds him that destiny never misses, no cap. Oogway drops massive wisdom, telling Shifu he needs to drop his fake illusion of control right now. You cannot force a peach tree to bloom before its time, no matter how hard you cope. Shifu argues back, believing he can still control where the tree grows and how it is nurtured. But Oogway hits him with the ultimate truth that a peach seed will only ever yield a peach. Shifu despairs because a goofy panda peach stands zero chance against a lethal warlord. Oogway stresses that even a panda can achieve legendary status if Shifu actually believes in him. With his final breath, Oogway begs his student to trust the process and lock in. Right on cue, the legendary master decides his mortal journey on Earth is officially finished. Oogway tells Shifu he has to carry the torch all by himself now, leaving him completely heartbroken. Shifu desperately begs him to stay as the ancient master dissolves into glowing pink cherry blossom petals. Cut back to the barracks where Po is casually telling goofy villain stories to the Furious Five. He tries landing a punchline about a wolf bandit, but the joke completely tanks in front of the crew. To recover from the awkward silence, Po serves them his dad's iconic secret recipe soup. Viper and the crew are blown away by how insanely talented Po is in the kitchen. Tigress acts ice cold, reminding everyone that real dragon warriors subsist on pure cosmic energy. She tries to shut down the fun vibe by talking up impossible spiritual standards. Po jokes that his massive appetite needs way more than universe juice to keep moving. Po puts on a hilarious Shifu voice and starts doing a spot-on impression right in front of them. He mocks Shifu's strict anti-fun personality while the five burst out laughing. Pa uses split bowls on his head to mimic Shifu's ears, giving total main character goofy energy. Suddenly the real Shifu pops up out of nowhere, catching them dead in the act. Shifu drops the terrifying bomb that Tai Lung is sprinting straight toward the valley. Pa realizes the goofy mood just got instantly vaporized into pure suspense. Shifu officially confirms that Pa is their literal only line of defense against annihilation. Tigress begs to step up and fight, but Shifu refuses to alter Oogway's final destiny. Overwhelmed by sheer horror, Pa tries to pack his bags and speed run away from his calling. Shifu cuts him off, but Pa points out he cannot even conquer the stairs, let alone a killer. Pa calls out Shifu for hating on him from the exact second he fell into the arena. Shifu begs for forgiveness and asks Pa to finally trust in his leadership. Pa breaks down and admits that Shifu's insults hurt, but hating himself hurt way worse every day. He stayed through the torture because he desperately hoped Shifu could transform his trash life. Moved by Po's heartbreak, Shifu vows to do whatever it takes to turn him into a legend. Po looks at his own belly and asks how that is even physically possible in time. Meanwhile, Tigress sneaks out at night to handle Tai Lung herself with rogue warrior energy. Late that night, Shifu catches Pa aggressively stress-eating junk food in the kitchen. Pa is caught red-handed eating Monkey's secret high-shelf stash of almond treats. Shifu notices something insanely bizarre about how Pa is standing up there. Pa is casually floating 10 feet up without even realizing his own insane physical feat. Shifu's mind is blown as Pa effortlessly pulls off a flawless full split between two high pillars. Realizing food is the ultimate unlock, Shifu drags Pa out to a secret sacred location. Pa completely misses the sacred vibes and immediately tries to take a bath in the spring. Shifu reveals this holy water is where Oogway unlocked the literal mysteries of Kung Fu. This absolute legendary birthplace is where Po's real transformation begins. Shifu asks if Pa is truly ready to step up and lock in for real. Shifu roasts Po's current skill level but admits he finally cracked the code on training him. He pulls out a fresh batch of warm dumplings to bribe Po's hidden potential. Pa gets hypermotivated the second delicious food enters the equation as the prize. Shifu tests Pa by snatching the food away every single time he reaches for a bite. They launch into a lightning-fast chopstick martial arts duel over a single dumpling. Pa dodges attacks and blocks Shifu's strikes like an absolute martial arts master. After winning the epic battle, Pa proves his growth by turning down the food with total discipline. Meanwhile on a high rope bridge, Tai Lung confronts the Furious Five in an epic standoff. Tigress steps up with zero fear, ready to throw hands against the dangerous menace. Tai Lung laughs off their defense and demands the legendary warrior who fell from the clouds. Hearing about Po's crazy entrance, Tai Lung gets hyped for an apocalyptic showdown. Tai Lung counterattacks the five with terrifying speed, proving he is a ruthless monster. Back at the training grounds, Pa celebrates finishing his high-intensity arc with peak energy. Shifu tries to keep him grounded, but secretly admits Pa did an incredible job. Their victory moment gets ruined when the Furious Five arrive carried back on a cart. Pa panics seeing his childhood idols completely paralyzed with wide-open blank stares. Crane explains that Tai Lung destroyed them using brutal nerve strike techniques. Shifu realizes with horror that the villain has reached an unbeatable level of power. The entire team is left cooked as the terrifying villain closes in on their home fast. The Furious Five stumble back to the Jade Palace completely wrecked after Tai Lung low-key wiped the floor with them. Pa is instantly spiraling because if 5 supreme Kung Fu legends got cooked, he stands absolutely zero chance. Master Shifu realizes there is only one option left and pulls down the sacred dragon scroll from the ceiling. Shifu hypes up the scroll saying reading it gives you god-level perception and cosmic main character energy. Pa gets super hyped thinking he is about to become an unstoppable god that can punch through literal walls. Pa tries to open the golden scroll container but struggles like crazy because the seal is locked tight. After a super awkward moment, Pa pops it open and tries to act like he totally intended that brute force. Pa unfurls the sacred parchment only to find out that the ultimate dragon scroll is literally blank. Shifu refuses to believe it at first because looking at the scroll without permission was strictly forbidden. Shifu tries to rationalize it, but Pa is completely devastated and assumes Oogway was just a crazy old turtle. Pa completely loses all confidence and accepts that picking him was nothing more than a giant mistake. With the scroll offering 0 power-ups, the valley is officially defenseless against Tai Lung's insane wrath. Shifu orders the Furious Five to clear out the entire village immediately to protect them from total carnage. Shifu decides he is going to make his final stand alone at the temple to buy the villagers time to escape. The five know this is a suicide mission for Shifu, but the master refuses to back down from his fate. Shifu accepts that dying at the hands of his former student is the ultimate price for his past mistakes. Shifu bids a heartbreaking final farewell to his students, telling them how proud he was to train them. Tigress and the team swallow their grief and rush down to guide the panicking villagers out of the valley. Pa heads back home feeling like an absolute failure, where his dad Mr. Ping welcomes him with open arms. Mr. Ping tries to cheer Pa up by telling him that his kung fu path simply was not meant to happen. Mr. Ping immediately starts pitching new business ideas for the noodle shop like nothing ever happened. Pa sighs in existential dread, low-key wondering how he is even related to a goose in the first place. Seeing Pa so down, Mr. Ping decides it is finally time to spill the legendary family secret. He leans in real close to reveal the secret ingredient behind their iconic soup recipe. Mr. Ping drops a massive bombshell and reveals that the secret ingredient is literally nothing at all. Pa is super confused because he thought there was some secret sauce or special powder behind it. Ping explains that to make something special, you just have to truly believe that it is special. That one line hits Pa like a freight train, suddenly making the blank dragon scroll totally make sense. The scroll was a mirror all along, proving that supreme power was inside him the entire time. Meanwhile, Tai Lung struts into the Jade Palace looking terrifying and ready to settle the score. Shifu stands his ground in the empty hall, refusing to acknowledge Tai Lung as his student anymore. Tai Lung mocks Shifu, assuming the panda ran away like an absolute coward. Shifu draws his weapon, making it clear this final brutal fight is strictly between the two of them. Tai Lung unleashes decades of built-up rage, screaming about how he suffered in prison for 20 years. Shifu counters that obeying the master is not weakness, but Tai Lung is way too far gone to listen. Tai Lung attacks savagely, shouting that Shifu forced him to break his bones training for a lie. He blames Shifu entirely for filling his head with grandeur and then doing nothing when Oogway rejected him. Shifu tries to defend himself, stating that choosing the Dragon Warrior was never his choice to make. Tai Lung overpowers Shifu effortlessly, pinning him down and demanding the Golden Scroll. Shifu spits in his face, stating he would rather die than hand over absolute power to a monster. Tai Lung screams in pure pain, revealing that everything he ever did was just to make Shifu proud of him. Shifu's heart breaks, and he finally confesses that he was always insanely proud of Tai Lung. Shifu admits his own massive ego blinded him from seeing what Tai Lung was turning into. Shifu apologizes sincerely for corrupting his mind, taking full responsibility for creating this monster. Tai Lung rejects the emotional apology, grabbing Shifu by the throat because he only wants the scroll. Tai Lung checks the ceiling display and realizes the dragon scroll is completely gone. Shifu taunts him, stating the real dragon warrior has already evacuated far away with the scroll. Tai Lung extends his claws, ready to snap Shifu's neck once and for all in pure frustration. Suddenly, Pa shows up at the door out of breath from climbing those insane stairs once again. Tai Lung stops dead in his tracks, utterly bewildered that a goofy panda is supposed to be his replacement. Tai Lung starts laughing hysterically and asks if the big fat panda is going to sit on him. Pa flexes the dragon scroll and tells Tai Lung to come and get it if he thinks he is tough enough. Tai Lung charges like a feral beast, knocking Pa out of the palace as the epic climax battle kicks off. They crash through the valley, smashing buildings while Tai Lung throws lethal acrobatic attacks. Tai Lung finally snatches the scroll away, roaring in victory as he opens the golden casing. Tai Lung looks down in absolute horror when he realizes the scroll is completely blank. Pa gets right back up, casually explaining that he was super confused by the blank scroll at first too. Pa drops the ultimate philosophical truth on him, explaining that the power comes from within yourself. Enraged, Tai Lung attacks Pa with nerve strikes, but Po's fat layers completely neutralize the pressure points. Tai Lung starts panicking, throwing endless punches that literally just bounce right off Po's belly. Tai Lung screams that Pa is nothing more than a giant fat panda who got lucky. Pa embraces his identity completely and grabs Tai Lung's hand, fully owning who he is. Pa flexes his pinky finger, catching Tai Lung in the legendary secret Wuxi finger hold technique. Tai Lung gasps in total disbelief, knowing Shifu would never teach a rookie that dangerous move. Pa smiles casually and lets him know he figured it out all on his own. Pa drops his iconic catchphrase skadoosh and triggers a massive golden shockwave that vaporizes Tai Lung. The villagers and the Furious Five rush back into the valley, witnessing Po's absolute victory in awe. Mr. Ping boasts to everyone about his legendary son while Pa races back up to check on Master Shifu. Shifu opens his eyes and whispers that Pa truly fulfilled the prophecy and brought peace to the valley. Shifu lays back and closes his eyes, causing Pa to panic thinking his master is literally dying right there. Shifu snaps back annoyed, explaining he isn't dying, he is literally just resting at peace for once. Pa feels relieved and asks his master if he wants to go grab some food to celebrate the big win. They sit together in quiet harmony, realizing that Pa was the hero the valley needed all along. The whole valley rejoices as Pa takes his rightful place as the supreme dragon warrior of legend. Pa went from a noodle-serving nobody to an absolute goat through pure heart and self-belief. And that is the epic conclusion of Kung Fu Panda, absolute peak cinema right here. If you enjoyed this recap, smash that like button and comment your favorite scene down below. Do not forget to hit subscribe and turn on notification bell so you never miss a wild recap. Drop a comment letting me know which classic movie we should cover next on the channel. Thanks for watching, stay awesome, and I will catch you guys in the next video.